Hello, guys. Welcome to PK's Tribe. As promised, today's video, I'm gonna cover some of the key points and tips as far as what is required for anybody to clear interviews and prepare for interview. It might be a phone interview, or it can be a video interview, or it can be a in-person interview. I have jotted out few points. Basically, I would be able to give you some tips to succeed in each interview. Uh, you know, you're gonna take. So the first major point which I want to talk to you about today is how you need to prepare and crack a call or an in-person or a video interview. So the first point, which is the key here, is that you need to research about the company and the role, which is really important. So basically, when we talk about researching about the company, you need to research about the company. What are the values? What are the products? And what are the recent news you heard about that particular company? So you need to understand that point, which is very vital for you to get into a call or meet them in person. So researching is very important about the company and the role as well. So you also need to study the job description and also thoroughly align yourself with the skills and the requirements of that particular job. So basically, you need to read through the job, find out, what are the description, what are the skills, and how you could be helpful for the company to, you know, deliver your services. So that's really important when you do that. And after that, you could also go and check them out in their LinkedIn profile to understand their background. Basically, like how many employees are working, what is the strength of the company in terms of the size of the company. You know, you could learn more about their, products and services and how they are able to brand themselves. So all this information you'll be able to know when you check them out on their LinkedIn profile. So that's the first point which I want to discuss was the researching of the company and the role you're applying for. The second point here is that you need to prepare for your the common interview questions. So basically, when I say common interview questions, is that the interviewer would ask you some questions like, he might or she might ask you like, tell me about yourself. So you need to prepare and, jolt out your points, what you're really good in, and how you can add in value to those companies. So you need to be able to confidently explain to them when they ask you the question, tell me about yourself. What are your experiences? What you have been doing? What are the key achievements you have done in that company? So these are the points that you need to keep in mind when they ask you, tell me about yourself. Then they might ask you, why should we hire you? So you need to highlight your skills, your achievements that match the job. So basically, you need to be really confident and tell them that, hey, if you hire me, I would be able to, you know, give you these kind of services, and I would be able to, you know, maybe increase your revenue to a large sum. So basically, you need to be able to explain to the interviewer that you are worth for that particular job. That's the key here. You need to make sure that you are able to sell yourself. Selling yourself is very important when you get on any kind of interviews. So that's another key. Then, you need to be able to show your strengths and your weaknesses. When you talk about strengths, be honest, in what you do, how you're able to enhance yourself. So you need to be able to be very, you need to be very honest in your approach when you talk to the interviewer. So that's very important. And also you can talk about your weaknesses, that where you're trying to improve yourself, in your skills. You could be able to explain to the interviewer about that. The next thing I want to talk to you about is, they might even ask you that, where do you see yourself the next 5 years? These are the kind of questions the interviewer might ask you. So you should be able to let them know that your ambition, which is aligned with the company, you need to be able to explain to them that, you could be able to fulfill their KPIs, and then, be able to go ahead and see yourself in the company the next 5 years, or where do you want to see yourself in your career growth. You could be able to explain to them about that. That's one more point which I wanted to add in. So that being said, then the third point which I wanted to discuss was the other main thing. Most of the interviews happen, so they might take you for a mock interview. So maybe you could do a practice session with your friend to improve your clarity and confidence when you talk to these you know clients. And you probably would be able to understand and replicate the whole stuff when you do mock interviews with your friends, or a family member. They can help you with that. Then focus on your body language. Always have an eye to eye contact and good posture. And when you go and meet the interviewer in person, get a good handshake, and then start your conversation. So that's very important. And the fourth point which I wanted to let you know is that you need to dress professionally and be punctual. So, for example, when you're going for in person, you need to wear formal attire unless told otherwise, and arrive 10 to 15 minutes earlier for an in person interview. Or if you're logging in for a virtual interview, the same stuff involves. You need to wear formal attire along with getting into the virtual interview call, maybe 5 minutes earlier. So that's the fourth point. And the fifth one is that basically when you meet the interviewer and you kind of talk to him, you need to ask smart questions. You know, basically, if they ask you at the end of the conversation, like, do you have any questions for me? You can ask them, what basically is the team size? How do you think, you can collaborate with the team for the projects? You can ask those questions, and you can ask, what are the biggest challenge the team is facing right now? These are the kind of questions you need to ask the interviewer, so that they know that you are interested in the job. So main thing is just not about the interviewer asking you questions. You need to ask the interviewer, how is the role? What can you do to help them in a team? Those kind of things you also need to go ahead and ask. So that's one point. Then the other sixth point I would say is that be always confident, speak clearly, maintain good posture, have a smile when you talk to them. Don't be arrogant at all. If you don't know anything, be honest in saying that you don't know it and you're willing to learn. That's a really good thing about a person, is that you need to basically go ahead and let the interviewer know if you don't know anything about something. You just need to be honest. There's nothing wrong in being honest and saying that you don't know something. That's that shows your maturity. So, you need to understand that. Okay. So that's one more thing which I wanted to let you know. And once you are done with the interview and you are done with the virtual interview or with the in-person interview, you should always send a thank you email after 24 hours, you know, showing your interest that it was nice meeting you, and you know, reiterating your interest on the particular job. So you could send them a thank you email after 24 hours. So these are the 7 points which I wanted to let you know. This is basically for a fresher, or this can be for an experienced professional. It can be for anybody who really wants to win on an interview. And that's a first step. Above all this, you need to have empathy. You need to have an empathy when you meet people. You need to have a good smile. You need to explain to them why you would be an asset to the organization if given the opportunity. So, along with all these points, you need to have this inner belief that you can win on that particular interview. That is the confidence you might need to have, and you should have, for you to win an interview and get your job offer. So that's all I have today for you people. If you guys are watching my YouTube, you know it's reached PK 35 PK's tribe. Please go ahead and like, subscribe, and share my video. This will be really motivating for me also to make more videos for you people. And probably next week I'll come back with some more videos to enhance and bring a change for all the talents out there. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye now.